Tonight, businessman and philanthropist Fred Youssef of South Shoe Store passes away. The Ministry of Health says there is no truth to rumors of a shortage of oxygen or medical gas at the respiratory hospital. And the CCC calls out vendors for using COVID-19 as an excuse to break vending laws. The details of these stories and more are coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Davis.
Good night. It is Wednesday, the 24th of February, 2021. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. I'm Lovelace St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. A local businessman and major contributor to sports in St. Lucia has died at the age of 76. Fred Youssef, better known as South, passed away on Tuesday evening. Youssef was also integral to the success of charitable ventures, which ensured that less fortunate children were able to get school shoes for the school year.
Originally from Trinidad, Fred South Youssef had been living in St. Lucia since 1967. He was the owner of South Shoe Store, which operated for over 4 decades. Youssef was well known for his kindness and philanthropy. He worked alongside Venus Rastaman Cherry to ensure that the less fortunate were catered to.
It's a sad day, no? A real sad day. Youssef, Fred Youssef, aka South, has been in St. Lucia for a long time. And from the time he started business, it's always been about helping St. Lucians. It has never just been about profit for South. I can promise you, you can get stories from Grosile to Vieux-Fort, back up to Grosile, around the island, of families that came in and got a discount or just got a pair of shoes or just whatever they were going through, he would work with them, you know. I met South when I was around 14 years old. I was a student of Rockwell Senior Primary School at the time, and it was sports time and I needed a pair of boots. And he said, okay, my boots is that amount of money. If you can come up with that amount, I have you. And when I went back, I didn't have the amount he told me to come with, but he still gave it to me.
Youssef was also a big supporter of sports in St. Lucia and supplied sporting gear to children who could not afford. The president of the St. Lucia Football Association says the sporting community has lost a great one.
Apart from South being a sponsor, South was one of the few strategic partners of the SLFA in terms of its football development, and really I can't find words to express the loss of him to the SLFA and to me personally as the head of the organization. For us, it is an additional loss. As you would have known, we have lost a number of key persons in the last year and a half, and South is no exception to that regrettable pattern. But for us, we will not be able to replace the loyalty and the commitment he has shown to the sport of football throughout the country and to SLFA in particular.
The businessman passed away Tuesday evening at hospital. He was 76. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
Thank you, Nisha. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has categorically denied reports of a shortage of medical gas or oxygen at the respiratory hospital. The ministry explains that the current medical gas system at the hospital, which existed before the move to the Owen King EU Hospital, was not designed for such a radical increase. Consequently, the system is currently being re-engineered to a semi-automated system to allow for an immediate notification and response by the technical and clinical team. The semi-automated system will also be less labor-intensive and time-consuming. Notwithstanding the move to the semi-automated system, there has been a consistent and reliable supply of medical gas by the only local manufacturer, Windward Island Gases. Over the last 3 weeks, the respiratory hospital has recorded an exponential increase in the consumption of medical gas. This is as a result of the number of patients admitted to the hospital. The medical gas demand moved from 50 cylinders daily to 120 cylinders. In other news, the Castries Constituency Council, CCC, has expressed concern over what it says is the blatant violation of laws and regulations regarding vending in the city. While the council says it sympathizes with vendors during this COVID-19 period, it says it is not an excuse to violate vending laws. Nisha Charles reports.
The Castries Constituency Council is clamping down on vendors for what they say is a disregard for the law and regulations which govern vending in the city. The concern stems from the circulation of a video recording of city police officers confiscating a cart with produce from a merchant. The CCC's Press and Communications Officer says that while the council realizes that the COVID-19 crisis has amplified socio-economic inequalities, the pandemic should be no reason to abuse privileges by blatantly violating laws and regulations.
It is important to note that the recently commissioned provisions market was built to facilitate all provisions vendors. We are faced with a situation where vendors are leaving their stalls to vend along the sidewalks. This situation is very troubling. It is a very sensitive issue as well, but the law stands and it cannot be disregarded. We continue to witness the indiscriminate vending, blocking of business houses, and the obstruction of sidewalks, with pedestrians being forced to walk on main streets as a result.
According to the vendors, the CCC has been haphazard in its handling of the situation. They say that the council needs to practice patience with them and treat them equally.
There are some vendors, their head is very hard for true, but all vendors is not the same. Some of they have a few vendors that don't want to wear the mask. I agree to it. Some of them, they had a head hard. They don't want to listen. But what I see city consumers do, you must be more patient, because if you have priority for one, you must have priority for all. Like you say, you don't want us to go on the road. Yes, you don't want us to go on the road. While you all have some vendors outside at the side of the market, they're not in the market.
Another vendor says that the claims being made by the CCC are false.
Now we know how the economy has become, and we know how hard things is. There are persons with children. They need to feed their children. We have bills to pay and so on. And if by the market the thing is so hard, right, you're not getting sales. You can hardly see somebody walking down the aisle there. You understand? The thing is so hard. So the people buy the things already. They must find means and ways to sell it out to gain back their monies. Sometimes you only make the money back and no profit because you doesn't want it to stay on your hand. Hence, most of the vendors, they go on the road with bags by their side to try and sell the goods. But those persons in the office, they have a salary. You understand? We do not work by the month, neither by the fortnight.
While the council says it understands that street vending provides a critical economic lifeline for people who face difficulty entering the job market, it would appreciate it if vending is done within the confines of the law. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
Thanks, Nisha. The St. Lucia Labour Party's endorsed candidate for Micoud North, Jeremiah Norbert, says his injuries will not stop him from contesting the next general election. Norbert, who was involved in a motorcycle accident on the 17th of February, sustained serious injuries to his right leg. On the 22nd of February, just before he was transported to Martinique, the young politician took to Facebook to reassure the public that his road to recovery is going well and that he will be back to deliver on the promises made to the people of Micoud North. Genevieve Gonzague reports.
Although confined to a hospital bed, SLP-endorsed candidate for Micoud North, Jeremiah Norbert, remains in good spirits. Norbert was involved in a motorcycle accident on Wednesday 17th and sustained serious injuries to his right leg. On Independence Day, mere hours before being transported to Martinique to perform surgery on his leg, Norbert took to social media to recommit himself to the cause of the people. He says despite his injuries, he will not be backing down from vying for the Micoud North seat.
I just want to reassure my fellow St. Lucians, especially the people of Micoud North, that I remain committed to the cause. I remain committed to being the representative for my people of Micoud North. And I know that God will see me through. I know that He will cover me with his blood, and we will come out of this thing victorious. And I ask that those of you who have started the groundwork to continue putting in the effort. The journey has only just begun. I am not able to be there physically as I'm confined to my hospital bed, but we know that with God everything is possible. And sooner than later, I will be back, stronger than before. Rest assured that Jeremiah will be back.
Norbert extended thanks to the members of the public who have kept him in their prayers or have reached out with encouraging words. He says his experience is one that all can learn from.
God uses situations at times to draw his people closer to him. And I see this experience as one where God used me to draw his people closer to him. I'm thankful for all the text messages, the WhatsApp messages, phone calls, all the outpour of love. It was overwhelming. And this is what has helped me in my recovery process. The love from you has been overwhelming, and I'm thankful for all the love that you have poured out for me.
He says the spirit of unity which is being exhibited is encouraging, and he is hoping that upon his return to St. Lucia, that it can be continued. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
Stay with us. Still to come, the first doses of vaccine secured through the COVAX facility are delivered. The tourism minister excited about tourism prospects as the UK is set to lift its lockdown. And the Prime Minister speaks on Severin Mosheri's new appointment and the promotion of Milton Daisy and criticisms of political interference in the police force.